From the Siouxland News Studios in HD, the Wayne State Coaches Show with Jordan Furby starts now.
How we doing, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Wayne State Coaches Show. I'm Jordan Furby, and joining us once again this week is the head coach of the Wildcat football team, Dan McLaughlin. Coach, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate the opportunity.
Well, Coach, we're meeting under less than ideal circumstances. It was a spoiled homecoming, I guess, for you guys. 64-21 loss to number 13 Minnesota Duluth. So obviously a very good team in the Bulldogs. We'll start with the first half. It's kind of becoming a reoccurring theme for you guys. Turnovers almost shooting you guys in the foot. The first two possessions, we have a fumble and then a pick six. So it's a quick 15-0 hole for you guys, real quick.
Yeah. Well, the second play of the game, we fumbled in the backfield again on a handoff, and that's 3 games in a row that's happened, and the same exchange between the same two kids, and it's just maddening beyond belief. We've got to get that fixed. But anyway, so they recover inside of our 10-yard line, I believe, and go in and score. And then they kicked off, and in our very first play, there's a pick six. And so we're down 15-0. They went for 2 the second touchdown. We're down 15-0. We'd run 4 or 5 plays. So just a very, very difficult start for our kids. To their credit, we fought back, and Zach Osborne threw a couple of touchdown passes, a deep ball to Adam Stark, and then one that he hit Tonev Abraham over the middle for a nice touchdown throw, and so made it 15-14, and we're right back in it. We kicked off, had pretty good coverage, and first play they ran a zone read play that is their favorite play, and we knew that. We blitzed to it. Perfect call by Mike Aldrich, our D coordinator, and for whatever reason, our kid went to the wrong guy and tackled the wrong guy, and they're out the gate and scored 65-yard run, and so again it was just like the air out of your balloon, and so we kind of slugged back and forth with them. We were able to get another score, and then they scored right before the half on a long pass. And our kids were just deflated, and we've got a young team, and you try to be positive with them and encourage them, but when you dig yourself a hole like that, it's really difficult to climb back out of.
But at the same time, as much as you guys got down, especially on those first 2 possessions, having those turnovers, you said 2 out of the first 4 possessions you guys had turnovers, to bounce back and at least get it to within 1, 15-14. I got to imagine that's a little bit encouraging as far as negating all the mistakes.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely, and we're not discouraged at all. We've just got to fix because it's all fixable. It's not like we're a bad football team that just can't do anything different. So it's all fixable, and we just got to quit shooting ourselves, and if we quit doing that, I think we got a great opportunity to have a great season.
And we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, it starts with the turnovers. I mean, those are the things that you and I talked about that kind of keeps coaches up at night.
Right.
And you can't, when you're playing a top 25 team like Duluth, you can't help them because any little flaw just gets exposed that much more.
And we told our kids, we said every possession this game has to end with a kick, either with a punt or a kickoff, and hopefully we can get that done. Unfortunately, we couldn't.
Absolutely. Well, still to come, we'll check in on the second half versus Duluth. Plus, we'll also check in on other Wildcat athletics in Wayne State 360. That's presented by Northeast Nebraska Insurance. We'll also preview today's opponent in Augustana. Stay tuned.
Siouxland News presents the Wayne State Coaches Show on Fox 44. Brought to you by the Diamond Center, State National Bank, Pack and Save, The Max, Arnie's Ford, Michael Foods, Northeast Nebraska Insurance, and Wayne State College and the Wayne State Foundation.
And welcome back. We're here with Wildcat coach Dan McLaughlin. Coach, you guys trailed 43-21 at halftime to the Bulldogs. In the second half, it just seemed like the Bulldogs just they put the pedal to the metal. They exerted themselves rushing-wise and scored 3 more touchdowns. A little rough for you guys on the defensive side, and kind of seemed like it couldn't get the offense going as well.
Well, and the problems the defense was having was because of the problems the offense was having. Really, we struggled to run the ball all day. They have a great defense, and we just struggled to run the ball. We could throw it at times, but they made us very one-dimensional. You got to tip your hat to them. You can't sit here and say that, we did this and we did that. It was a lot of what they did. They're an outstanding football team, and they did a great job. And we struggled to run the ball, and as a result, we had a lot of 3-and-outs. Our defense was on the field too much. Not a lot of depth in Division II because of the scholarship limits, and our kids just got tired, and we've got to do, I heard Tom Coughlin say Sunday after the Giants lost, he says our offense has to do a better job so our defense doesn't have to play so much, and that really is what happened to us. We were just on the field too long defensively. We need to be more consistent on the offensive side. Yeah,
it's almost the best defense is a good offense, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
Because it helps.
Absolutely.
It helps each other. When you're not constantly out there for 5-10 minutes at a time.
Right. Absolutely. And so we just need to do a better job. We've got to run the ball, and we've got to quit turning it over.
And what were kind of your takeaways from the second half? Obviously, not the prettiest, but what was kind of the silver lining that you saw maybe in the second half?
Our kids kept fighting. Our kids kept fighting. They didn't quit. A lot of pride. A lot of encouragement on the sidelines. We were looking for small victories. Let's win this series. Let's win this series. Let's do these things and do them correctly this time. And they did a great job of encouraging each other, and they kept fighting. And so I like the effort, and I like the attitude. And so those are things you can build on, and we're looking forward to having another great week of practice.
And one thing that's it's got to be encouraging, frustrating at the same time. We kind of talked during the break about the Jekyll and Hyde of this team. At times they're very, very good, and like you said, they're not a bad team by any means. But until you get that execution through, it can kind of be a little frustrating. But at least the potential is there for a good team.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's not like we're a bad football team. I think we're a pretty decent football team that's playing badly at times. And you and I have talked about this for 3 weeks in a row now about consistency, and we just need to be more consistent, and that's something that I hope that comes around sooner than later.
And it could be one of those things too, where once the consistency does come around, you hit all green lights. Everything kind of just clicks.
Exactly, because we do have some talent on this team, and we've just got to quit giving things away in the form of turnovers. And just helping teams out. They're going to do enough on their own to try to beat us. We don't need to help them any.
Absolutely. Well, coming up after the break, we'll take a final look at the stats of the second half and of the game, and we'll also get coaches' impressions on where to go from here. Don't go away. And welcome back. Time now to check out the stats of the game against Minnesota Duluth. Coach, on paper, they outgained you 483 to 258. Kind of like you said, a rough day. They really were able to shut down the rushing. But passing, you guys seem to have a little bit of success. 206 yards passing from Zach Osborne, and 3 touchdowns and only 1 interception. So at least a little bit of a silver lining on that passing game.
Yeah, we were able to throw the ball. Like I said, they made us very one-dimensional. Their defense is very strong, and we weren't able to run the ball at all, and that made it tougher for Zach with his reads and stuff, because they were able to force us into doing some things that maybe we didn't want to do. But he was still able to get some things accomplished, and we do have some good receivers, and So that was good. We just got to find a way to run the ball.
And with the rushing, is it a fixable thing? Is this kind of just maybe they had a defensive scheme that was working against you? I mean, what would you see to kind of improve the running game?
Well, Charlie Davidson didn't play a lot, and that makes a difference because he's he's a really superior running back, and that made a difference. The fact that we were behind, and so you're trying to do some things, you're just throwing the ball more anyway, just because you're so far behind. And then they were superior up front. Their defensive line was superior to ours, and they just did an outstanding job. And like I said, you got to tip your hat to a great football team.
And another great player that had a pretty good game for you guys is Tonev Abraham. I mean, we keep talking about his name every week. It seems like 4 catches, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's really been a nice feather in your cap in the offense.
Yeah, he is. He's a great receiver, and he does a great job. Adam Stark had a nice another long touchdown catch, and so we've got some weapons out there. We've just got to be able to take the pressure off by running the ball, and that'll open more things up for them.
Now, looking at both the good and the bad, the good to me was kind of how you guys responded when being down, especially early. I mean, that's almost a nightmare of a beginning for you guys having those turnovers. But you responded well. You came back after being down 15-0 with 2 quick scores to stay right in there with the number 13 team in the nation. That's nothing to be ashamed of.
No, absolutely not. And like I said, we make a mistake and then it's 22, and so they got one right back, and then the one right at the end of the half, I think, was the backbreaker. And you can if and but and woulda, coulda, shoulda, and all those things, but you take away the 15 we gave them, and the one at the end of the half on a long pass that we just weren't able to generate any pass rush, and there's 21 points. Well, that's the difference in the game. And so, we played with them at times, but again, you just got to tip your hat to a great football team. Duluth did a great job. And
then things to improve on. Obviously, in a loss, you always have some things to do. Turnovers again are a theme, but it also seemed. Do you think that touchdown before the half, kind of like you said, was the backbreaker? Did the team maybe run out of gas, and is this kind of a learning experience moving forward of how to maybe respond to some adversity?
I think so. Absolutely. And hanging in there till the end, and working together and doing a better job there. All the cliches that coaches talk about, and we've just got to continue to work on those things. And like I said, a young football team that I think is learning every week, and that was a harsh lesson to learn, but maybe it was good for them. We'll find out.
Well, and it's tough in the conference too as well. The conference it's no joke. It's very, very competitive, and it seems like each week you guys have a different test. Last week was a great test for you guys against Minnesota Duluth. They're no slouch. They're a top 15 football team, and this week we'll also have a big test, as we do every week in the conference.
Right. The beauty of our conference, though, is we're starting division play this week, and so like I've told the kids, everybody's 0-0 again. And so we're starting over with Augustana up in Sioux Falls, and we'll see what we can do now. Yeah,
and we'll talk about the what challenges the Vikings present coming up in just a little bit. Wayne State 360, presented by Northeast Nebraska Insurance, is also coming up next. Don't go away.
Wayne State 360, a look at what's going on all around the Wildcat campus. Brought to you by Northeast Nebraska Insurance.
And time now to check out how other sports are doing around the Wayne State campus. We start with the nationally ranked women's volleyball team. The Wildcats they are now sit at 11-2 on the year. They went 2-1 in conference play. A little bit of a shocking loss to Augustana to begin the 3-game homestand last week. They lost 3-0 to the Vikings, but they responded with wins over Minot State and the University of Mary. Each game was a 3-0 rout. Wayne State did drop 2 spots in the polls down to number 10. However, Concordia St. Paul is now the #1 team in the nation. Now, if you remember a couple weeks ago, the Cats handed them their only loss of the season. They're now number 1 after beating number 2 Minnesota Duluth. Up this week for the Wildcats, they will go at MSU Moorhead on. They played them actually last night. They face Northern State this evening, later this evening, and then next week they will play number 5 Nebraska Kearney at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. So a very tough challenge, very challenging schedule for the Wayne State team as well. Coming back here in studio, Coach. This week, you guys, like you said, start divisional play. You go on the road up to Sioux Falls to play Augustana. It's a 1 p.m. kick. Another road test for you guys. Augustana's coming off of a loss to St. Cloud State. You guys both are going to be fighting for wins. This is both kind of two teams against their back. What challenges are the Vikings going to present for you guys?
Well, they have excellent players, new coaching staff, so they're doing some things differently than they've done in the past. You're right; they're coming off a tough loss against St. Cloud that I'm sure that they're looking forward to try to fix, as we are. So two teams that are struggling with their backs against the wall, and we'll just have to see what happens. The beauty of it is September is gone, October is here. It's a new month. Everybody's 0-0 because divisional play begins, and it's a time for us, I think, to renew and regrow and get better. And Augustana presents a great challenge, but we're looking forward to it.
And not oftentimes you want to go on the road, but you have kind of mentioned to me before that you almost have a little bit more focus and play a little bit better on the road. So maybe this is kind of the right medicine that this team needs right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. People have always asked me why, since I've been the coach at Wayne State, we've had a better record on the road than we have at home, and that's a $1 million question. I have no idea, but we do seem to play well on the road, and so hopefully that'll help us this week.
Getting into divisional play, I know this season and stuff you guys have had some major bright spots, but coming into divisional play, you mentioned kind of starting 0-0. Is it kind of, all right, let's have some selective memory, what happened in the past,
Absolutely.
in the past, and let's just start moving forward.
Absolutely.
Because you have a fresh start
Absolutely.
now moving forward, and you guys could run the table from here. We don't know.
We can't, we can't fix what's behind us. All we can do is focus on what's ahead of us. So we just got to throw that away and look ahead. And I told the kids that, as I said, divisional play starts. We can still be division champions. Mm-hmm. There are things out there that are still ahead of us that we can accomplish, and there's no sense dwelling on what's happened in the past that's hurt us, other than trying to correct it and trying to learn from it. But it's a new start, it's a new beginning, it's a chance for us to do some things in a positive manner, and hopefully it starts off today. And
besides the obviously the obvious of the turnovers and fixing things like that, what are some things that you're hoping to see later today with the team and facing Augustana?
Overall consistency. Mm-hmm. I think is, like you said, we're good at times. We're good at times, and we're not very good at other times, and we've got to eliminate those and focus on our strengths and try and make ourselves better in those areas.
And hopefully, like you said, being on the road for whatever reason, if that's what it takes to get that win, take them on the road.
Absolutely. Well, we'll take them anywhere.
Yeah, take them everywhere you can get them.
At home, on the road, neutral site, in space. I don't care. We'll take any victory we can get right now.
Absolutely. Sounds good to me, Coach. Well, up next, we'll see what's in store for Wildcat Athletics this week. Plus, we'll get Coach's 3 keys to victory over Augustana coming up next. And welcome back. Time now to check out what's ahead in the week ahead again for the Wayne State Wildcats in all athletics. We start with the women's soccer team. The team goes on the road at St. Cloud tomorrow. That one is set to kick off at 1 p.m. Then they come back home next Saturday to face Minnesota State, also a 1 p.m. kickoff. The cross-country teams will be actually just up the road from the studios here at the Briarcliff Invite at Adams Nature Preserve in McCook Lake, South Dakota. The women start their run at Saturday at 10 a.m. next Saturday, with the men starting their run at 10:45. And the women's volleyball team with a very tough schedule that's coming up this next week. They go on the road to Nebraska Kearney, number 5 Nebraska Kearney there. That one tips off at Tuesday, October 8th at 7 p.m. Then they come home and they face the number 1 team in the nation, number 1 Concordia St. Paul, who they've beaten already this year. So that should be a very good one inside of Rice Auditorium next Friday at 7 p.m. Then they also will face Minnesota State next Saturday. That one is October 12th, scheduled for 2 p.m. Coach, coming back here talking about the game later today against Augustana. What's going to be kind of your 3 keys to victory on the road against the Vikings?
Kind of been the same ones, Jordan, we've talked about. We can't turn the ball over. We just can't turn the ball over. We told the kids last week that we wanted every one of our possessions to end with a kick, whether it was a punt or a kickoff, and just be patient. And if we could do that, we thought we could slug with Duluth, and we didn't do that. And that's the biggest key to Wayne State college football right now is we're just turning the ball over too much. We've played 4 games and we've had 15 turnovers, and that's just absolutely unacceptable. And that's on me, and I got to get that fixed. But that's the number 1 key, and we just can't turn the ball over. Second thing is I think defensive discipline. We had a couple of mental busts against Duluth where we had great defenses called, and kids just did not execute their assignment. And I know that's kind of a hot buzzword now in athletics. So all the kids didn't execute, and we're not trying to lay the blame anywhere or point any fingers. But when you coach all week to do something, then we kind of expect you to do it that time. And unfortunately, a couple of times against Duluth, that didn't happen. And then the third thing is offensive consistency. And as you've pointed out several times, we've been very good at times. We've scored, we've moved the ball. Charlie Davidson has over 500 yards rushing. Tonev Abraham has several touchdowns. Adam Stark has dialed long distance several times. We've got Zach Osborne is having a pretty good year for a freshman, and so we've done some good things, but just not consistently. We're on the sideline too much, and that tires our defense out. So offensive consistency. So I would say those 3 things: turnovers, a little defensive discipline, and a little more consistent good things offensively, I think, are the keys to us being a good football team.
And also, sometimes when teams get down on themselves and you almost see them starting to press, you never want them to kind of put more pressure on themselves than they have to. Is there the mentality of, let's just kick back and, let's have some fun? Obviously you want to get down to the fundamentals of not making the turnovers and having more consistency, but at the same time, you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself. You got to just take it easy and go out there and play the game that you love.
Absolutely, and it's funny that you bring that up, because that's exactly what we've done this week in practice. It's tried to emphasize that football should be a game of fun. You should be having fun, and we've done some different things in practice to try to emphasize that. We've let them do some different things that an old guy like me probably doesn't see, but our younger guys suggested to me, and so we've done some things and hopefully to add some smiles. You don't want kids playing afraid to make a mistake, and they've just got to play and do the best they can and move on from there, and hopefully we can do that.
It's always better to play loose than to play too tight.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck today against Augustana. Hopefully we'll be talking next week about another road victory.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that,
Absolutely,
Jordan.
Coach. That's going to do it for us. Coach, again, thanks for sitting down with us. Best of luck today against Augustana. Wayne State kicks off at 1 p.m. That is going to wrap up the Coaches Show. Wayne State will play Southwest Minnesota State next week at home at 6 p.m. Go Cats, and we'll see you next week.